What's going on, everybody? It's Matt Marchese, also known as Islanders Daily, here with your daily news for the four-time Stanley Cup champions, New York Islanders. And the Islanders-Devils game has just concluded, and the final score was the Devils a lot, the Islanders not a lot. Final score really being 6-2. So it was a disaster of a game by the New York Islanders. Now, I will say the Islanders were definitely outmanned, as the Devils had essentially almost their whole starting lineup playing in this game, where the Islanders really only had about five true players who will be on the lineup this year. Probably even less. We just had the one line, Cizikas and Romanov, as really the only true players in this game. And yeah, it clearly showed the Devils just simply dominated the Islanders. They did not have a shot through the first period, through the first almost 10 minutes. I think it was about 15:56 into the first period that we actually got a shot on goal. I can't even remember. That's how much this game, and essentially that's all it was. I'm sure all the people who watched have realized that we essentially just wasted 2.5 hours watching that hockey game, and yeah, it was certainly a game. It was certainly a game. The Devils blow out the New York Islanders, and like I said, the Devils had their real kind of roster playing. The Islanders didn't. Now, I will say the Islanders' power play did look okay. It did look okay. We went 2 for 4 on it. That's where our 2 goals came from. And our penalty kill did not look okay, as we gave up 2 goals on the penalty kill as well. But the Devils, like I said, did have their whole team, really, their real power play units out there. And yeah, it was certainly not exactly what you want to see. The game started a little physical, a lot of hitting going on, but kind of as things spiraled out of control, that kind of stopped and it was more an easygoing game. The Devils did not really try and put it on the Islanders. They did take their foot off the gas pedal and kind of just ended the game. Now, I will say Hogberg had a very solid game. I mean, he really got no help whatsoever from the Islanders defense, and he was pretty solid in the game, Hogberg. He did what he had to do, made a couple big saves, but it was just not enough. The Devils were just pressuring and pampering shots left and right, and yeah, not a great thing. Not a great thing. We were outshot in the first period 15-3, and it was a miracle that we were only losing 1-0 in that period. It was a Dougie Hamilton power play goal right as a 5-on-3 expired. And yeah, it was. Oh no, sorry, we did score a goal in the first period. It was 1-1 somehow after being outshot 15-3. Heineman scored on the power play goal, and it was actually great puck movement there. And Ritchie with a great pass to find Heineman in the slot area for that goal. So we were going into the second period actually tied one apiece despite being outshot 15-3. And second period is where, I mean, if you couldn't tell, the first period was about as horrible as the first period could be. But the second period, it just took off right away. Heischer scored a quick goal on the power play. Connor Brown then scored. Joey Larson did not make a good play, did not get back to his spot. And then Dawson Mercer would score instantly right away on Lennox when he entered the game, and it was simply pathetic defense by the Islanders. I kind of feel bad for Tristan Lennox. He just kind of seemed overmatched in the NHL. We know the one shot, one goal incident that happened to him last season, and then coming into this game, he just did not look particularly great. But again, the Islanders themselves did not look particularly great. In fact, I would say the Islanders looked about as horrible as a team could look. Now, like I said, we really did not have our team playing here. Most of these guys will never play a game for the Islanders in the majors despite injuries or something happening. But yeah, it just was not a good game whatsoever. I mean, it was bad. Calvin Ritchie, though, did score a goal, and that's kind of where I'm going to lead into of the people who kind of stood out to me in this game. And it was really just the first line. Ritchie, Heineman, and Holmstrom were the only ones with any sense of skill, it seemed like, in that game for the Islanders. The only ones who were actively doing stuff. And yeah, they looked pretty good on the first line. Ritchie especially, I think, looked good. Heineman, I liked what I saw from him. Holmstrom had a quiet game, but not too worried about that. Hogberg, I thought, was very good for what the Islanders gave him. And yeah, and then the rest of the standouts would probably be all the fans who stayed and watched that whole game, because it was a nightmare. It was truly brutal. And then for the players who did not perform that well was everybody I just did not say. Yeah, it just wasn't a good game. I think defensively, the Islanders looked horrendous. I don't think our defensemen were playing good. Now, then again, Romanov was the only one who is a true player playing in that game. And even Romanov himself really struggled. He made a couple bad plays today, Romanov. I hope it's just because he was playing with weaker defensemen. Isaiah George, I thought, really struggled today. Kayshawn Aitchison played back from his injury. Not really making any noise there. Kalle Adulius, I thought, made a couple bad turnovers, and then Ethan Bear was just whatever. So, yeah, not exactly a positive game. And honestly, there's not a lot out of this game that I can really say that we did good. I mean, the Devils were just skating laps around us all night, and they simply dominated the whole way through. Now, nobody panic. Nobody panic. It is not worrisome whatsoever. This is the preseason without any of our true star players. So it's a whatever loss, but definitely disappointing that I spent my day kind of watching this game, or my night, I should say, watching this game, but it is what it is. And I will say, a lot of our older players, I'm feeling a little nervous here. I talked about Anders Lee last game, but Casey Zizekas did not look like he has it anymore. Obviously, he's the final remnant of that OG fourth line that the Islanders had, and he did not look good, and he's kind of following that path that Clutterbuck and Martin looked like, where just you're reaching the end of your career, and that's what happens. It's like it just ends. You had a solid career, but you can't keep it up forever, and yeah, it just wasn't great. It wasn't great. But from this game, I really do hope Callum Ritchie makes the roster somehow, some way. I thought he performed really strong and really well, and I'd love to see him in the NHL this year. And they clearly gave him trust by putting him on a line with people who will be on the NHL this year, Patrick Wahlde with Holmstrom and Heineman. I think Ritchie and Heineman were the true two best players in this game for the New York Islanders. I actually think Boquist, I know I was talking about the defensemen and said they all weren't good. I thought Boquist played an okay, solid game. He was decent on the power play, but yeah, just not a good game. The Devils just simply decimated us. It was kind of a nightmare. That's the best word to describe this game. And yeah, goals were scored by Dougie Hamilton, Emil Heineman, Nico Hischier, Connor Brown, Dawson Mercer, Ethan Edwards, Evgeny Dadonov, and Callum Ritchie in this game, with the Devils outshooting us 38-15. And that's about all I can say about this game. Nothing positive besides Ritchie and Heineman and a couple other things. A lot of negatives. Hopefully this is just, our minor league guys who just were not up to the challenge against the Devils' true NHL team. It was essentially a scrimmage between a varsity team and a junior varsity team. That's the best words I can use to describe this game. But hopefully everything is turned back. Hopefully we do see some of our true players playing in games on Thursday against the New York Rangers. I think we might get a Sorokin game, as it was Hogberg and Lennox who played today. And I think we will get a Sorokin game, hopefully, where we'll get to see what he does. But yeah, that's about all for this episode. I hope you all enjoyed. If you have any comments that you want me to discuss in the video or just reply to you in the comments, be sure to leave them. And as always, let's go Islanders.